In a world where alliances shift and global powers realign, one visit stirred the geopolitical pot and sent ripples across continents, from the golden savannas of West Africa to the icy halls of the Kremlin. It's a story of courage, resistance, and a rising leader who dares to stand tall in the face of neo-colonial giants. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, has just completed a historic and highly symbolic visit to Moscow. His meeting with President Vladimir Putin has not only caught the world's attention, it may have just changed the direction of Africa's future. Why does this meeting matter? What secrets lie behind their handshake? And why has Russia suddenly become the most powerful ally of this small but defiant West African nation? Stay with us as we unravel the suspenseful tale of politics, power, and partnership, a tale that reveals why Ibrahim Traoré and Vladimir Putin, though from different worlds, walk a similar path. Chapter 1. The Rise of a Young Captain. Before we get to Russia, let's go back to where it all started. Burkina Faso, once called Upper Volta, is a landlocked country plagued for years by terrorism, corruption, and the lingering shadow of French colonialism. For decades, promises were made but never fulfilled. The people suffered, the land bled, and the future looked bleak. But in 2022, the winds of change began to blow. A young, fearless soldier named Ibrahim Traoré rose through the ranks, not because of privilege or politics, but because of his sheer determination to defend his country. At just 34 years old, he led a bold coup, ousting the previous regime and promising to restore security, dignity, and sovereignty to Burkina Faso. While critics called him inexperienced, his people saw him as a hero, a warrior, a new Sankara. And just like Thomas Sankara before him, Traoré believed in an Africa free from foreign exploitation. He spoke openly about the failures of the West, especially France, in addressing terrorism in the Sahel. Instead of waiting for handouts, he wanted partnerships based on respect, strength, and shared interests. But there was one question: who would stand with him? Chapter 2. The search for a true ally as the Western powers grew increasingly hostile to Traoré's bold rhetoric. Sanctions were imposed, aid was withdrawn, and diplomatic pressure mounted. Burkina Faso found itself isolated, but Traoré didn't flinch. Instead, he turned eastward to a leader who also had a long history of resisting Western dominance: President Vladimir Putin. Putin, a former intelligence officer turned global statesman, has long criticized the hypocrisy of Western foreign policy. Under his leadership, Russia has cultivated ties with countries that feel marginalized or bullied by the West. Africa, with its resources, potential, and hunger for sovereignty, became a key part of his global strategy. When news of Traoré's admiration for Russia emerged, many scoffed. But Traoré remained firm. "We don't want to be anyone's puppet," he declared. "We want partnerships that respect our sovereignty." It was only a matter of time before Moscow came knocking. Chapter 3. The Suspense Builds, a visit cloaked in strategy. When Traoré's visit to Russia was first rumored, few believed it would happen so soon. But in early 2025, the confirmation came. The young captain was heading to Moscow. No cameras captured his plane landing. No flashy ceremonies were broadcast. The visit was discreet but deliberate, a symbol that this was no publicity stunt. It was about business. It was about alliance. It was about rewriting history. Behind closed doors, Traoré and Putin reportedly discussed a range of topics: military cooperation, mining deals, energy support, and intelligence sharing. But what truly made this meeting historic was not just the agreement signed. It was a mutual respect that radiated between the two men. Chapter 4. Traoré and Putin, a brotherhood forged in resistance on the surface. They seem worlds apart. Traoré, a young African revolutionary, bold and charismatic, with fire in his voice and a rifle on his shoulder. Putin, a seasoned leader, calculating and calm, with decades of experience navigating global conflict. But beneath those differences lies a shared ideology, an understanding forged through resistance. Both men have fought, in their own ways, against Western interventionism. Both have been vilified by foreign media, but revered at home. And both understand that sovereignty is not given, it is earned. Sources close to the meeting describe Putin's admiration for Traoré as genuine. He reportedly referred to Traoré as a man of action, not words. In return, Traoré is said to have thanked Putin for showing Africa that resistance is possible, that standing up to empires doesn't mean self-destruction. This wasn't just a diplomatic visit. It was a meeting of minds. Chapter 5. Why Burkina Faso needs Russia now? Let's answer the burning question. Why does Burkina Faso need Russia? The answer lies in 5 key reasons. Number 1, security and military training. Burkina Faso is battling a brutal jihadist insurgency. Despite years of Western involvement, the situation only worsened. Russia, through its private military contractors and armed support, offers battlefield experience and real-time intelligence that Burkina Faso desperately needs. Number 2, economic independence. For too long, Burkina Faso's economy has been tied to former colonial powers. Russia's interest in gold, uranium, and other resources offers Burkina Faso an alternative trading partner, one that doesn't demand political obedience. Number 3, infrastructure development. Russia has proposed building energy plants, roads, and communication systems in West African countries as part of its Africa strategy. For Burkina Faso, this could mean electrifying rural regions and creating jobs for millions. Number 4, educational and technical exchange. Moscow has offered scholarships, technical training, and agricultural support. Unlike Western aid tied to ideological strings, Russian support emphasizes practicality and long-term skill development. Number 5, political leverage. By aligning with Russia, Burkina Faso sends a clear message. Africa is not a pawn in global games. It gives Traoré diplomatic room to maneuver and greater leverage in regional politics. Chapter 6. Reactions from the world: shock, fear, and admiration. The news of Traoré's visit sent shockwaves across global media. Western governments expressed concern over the growing influence of Russia in West Africa. Some even accused Traoré of turning his back on democracy. But on the streets of Ouagadougou and beyond, the reaction was very different. People cheered. Social media lit up with praise. Posters of Traoré and Putin, side by side, appeared across the country. For many Burkinabe, it felt like redemption, like they finally had a leader who wouldn't kneel. Neighboring countries took notice too. Mali and Niger, who had also expelled French forces and moved closer to Russia, congratulated Traoré. The axis of West African resistance was solidifying. Could this be the dawn of a new Pan-African coalition? Could Russia be the catalyst for Africa's true liberation? Chapter 7. The Secret Deal? Now, let's talk about a rumor that's been spreading quietly behind diplomatic doors. According to unconfirmed sources, part of Traoré's visit involved a top-secret military agreement that includes the establishment of a joint Russian-Burkinabe base in the north of the country. The purpose? To serve as a forward operations center against terrorism in the Sahel. If true, this would be monumental. It would signal not just cooperation, but strategic alliance. A foothold for Russia in West Africa. A turning point in the global power game. Of course, neither side had confirmed this yet, but in geopolitics, silence often speaks louder than words. Chapter 8. The road ahead. What's next? The visit may be over, but the journey has just begun. Burkina Faso, under Traoré, now faces enormous expectations. With Russia's support, can he defeat terrorism? Can he rebuild his nation's economy? Can he avoid the pitfalls that swallowed previous revolutionaries? And what of Russia? Will its growing influence in Africa trigger a new Cold War dynamic with the West? These are questions that history will answer, but for now, one thing is certain. Ibrahim Traoré is not just a military captain. He is a symbol, a reminder that Africa's youth are no longer waiting to be saved. They are rising. And with Vladimir Putin by his side, Traoré may have found the ally he needs to complete the mission he began. So, what does this all mean for the future of Africa? Are we witnessing the birth of a new era, an era of independence, strength, and strategic alliances beyond the old colonial playbook? Captain Ibrahim Traoré's visit to Russia wasn't just about military deals or economic aid. It was about vision, about defiance, about choosing dignity over dependency. And in that cold room in Moscow, under the watchful eyes of history, a quiet alliance was born, one that could shape the future of a continent. The world is watching. The empires are nervous. And Africa, is awakening. Thank you for watching this powerful story about Captain Ibrahim Traoré's visit to Russia and the rise of a new African order. If you found this video insightful, inspiring, or even surprising, hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives, powerful narratives, and stories that mainstream media won't tell you. Africa is rising, and we're here to tell its stories. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and stay awake.